All I'm saying is the truth will set you free. The truth will set you free. Let me hear a little ha. Ain't that the truth? Nurses will, manager, people on the whole will lie to make themselves look good and try to put you down in the process. Lie in your face, behind your back, they're tearing you apart. We're going to get into this, family. Welcome. If you've been in nursing long enough, at some point, there's different levels of management, different levels of hierarchy that you should go to. Chain of command, they said. But when your immediate manager, nurse manager, they may be on the floor, charge nurse, report to them. Have you ever, let me ask you this before I start. Welcome back to my channel. This is Patrice M. Foster. Have you ever had an encounter with your manager and you feel that what she's saying about you is a lie? What would you do, or what have you done? Well, I'm here to tell you 3 things you can do. But before you get into it, the manager will, just as any normal human being, will lie to cover their back. They need the job. They may not say they need the job. They may act like they don't need the job, but they need the job just like you. But if there's a situation that they did wrong, they will never say they are wrong. They won't come back to apologize. So don't look for anything. That's like people. They do their dirt, and they're doing their dirt, and they'll cover it up. I'm just in a distress right now because I was in a situation, and I thought about this. A long time ago, this happened to me. And then a friend of mine called me and told me the situation that she was in. And it brings me back to what happened to me. I had a manager, this was in 2008, before I even went into travel nurse. Miss Pierre, let's call her Miss Pierre. Mm-hmm. Come on board from New York, came to, it was my first job in Georgia too, in a psych state facility. And everything was going well. I said, okay, I'm ready to settle down and be a Georgia girl or Georgia nurse, whatever. And met some people, interesting nurses there too, who was encouraging me, stick around for a while. And then they changed the DON. They changed management, and Miss Pierre became a manager. And as soon as she got there, within 2 weeks, she brought all her family's friends in the job. And you know how that going to end up. You know, favoritism. And I worked with this one guy. He was Jamaican. He had just came from New York. He didn't know Miss Pierre, but he got to know Miss Pierre well. And the position I wanted, he got it. Very arrogant guy. You know how they, I don't have to get into them. So he got the position, and he ended up never staying long because he went back to Connecticut or wherever he came from because he couldn't survive. He didn't know how to survive like I know how to survive in Georgia. So I guess that was enough. He had just bought a house. So all her cronies was there. And I wanted that position to be working in intake. And that's probably why I just stayed PRN. And they would float me all over. You know, I'm the flunky, float all over. And I know I shouldn't say that about myself, but that's how I was feeling at the time. Very, how could I say it? I didn't feel confident because here I am, new in the state, new at this job, didn't understand the personalities or the politics of what it is to work in Georgia. This lady came in, apparently she came in from another jail or prison and decided to work the position. You know, when you like position, you see it, you go for it. And I see a lot of things that was going wrong. And when I see other nurses that not doing what they supposed to do, and I'm held accountable to do the right thing, I get frustrated. And through my frustration, I may take it up the chain of command or go right to the source. And she just brushed me off like she's just venting. I am not thinking about Miss Nurse Foster. She's just venting, argumentative. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just telling you, you know, it's not fair. You need to be across the board, float everybody. You say everybody's going to float, then you float everybody. Not just me to fill in when somebody call out. You're going to put me in an unfamiliar situation because I wasn't oriented on certain things. And then you leave me by myself. This is forensic. You leave me by myself to work the whole floor. And this is the busy place. When you put me in intake, I'm by myself. But when others are by themselves, you suddenly find me to be an extra to help them out. You get what I'm saying, family? Be fair. But my feelings are brushed off. So there's a situation where I was called, I was started my work on my forensic unit, and in the middle of my job, I was called on the phone to go down and help the nurses. The nurse is having a hissy fit, so I need to go down and help her. She's by herself. When I'm having a hissy fit, I'm argumentative, I'm venting, and I'm not caring about Nurse Foster. And this is the exact word out of her mouth. I'm not studying Nurse Foster. So I said to my manager, Miss Pierre, well, I will go, but I'm in the middle of charting, I'm in the middle of doing my rounds. Can it wait till I'm finished? Something like that, I said. Well, never mind then. Hang up in my face. And you know, when she hung up in my face, I felt something. And when people say never mind, I probably would have never mind and don't go up, go downstairs or upstairs, wherever that location is. It's been a while, so I don't remember. But there was another nurse who was sitting next to me, and she said, "You know what, Nurse Foster, because we go by last name, Nurse Foster, I think after you finish, I know I'm giving you a little advice. Take it if you want. After you finish, you better go to that spot because she gonna use it against you and say you didn't go." I wasn't gonna go, to be honest, because she said never mind and hang up. But after the nurse suggests that, I thought about it, and so I decided to go. So I went down around 9. I work in the morning, so I went down 9 a.m. and helped the nurse that was having a hissy fit. Do you know that nurse didn't even, and it's like separated. My floor is like A and B. She was on A, and B was kicking, whiffing, just, it was so busy. It was like, I'm by myself. I came to help you. You would have did this A and B by yourself. And not once, nothing going on A. I'm on B. Nothing going on A. And that nurse did not even come out to help me. So while I was struggling, because I hadn't been on this floor for a while, it's forensic A and B. I haven't been on it for a while. So the nurse came out and I kind of snapped. I said, "Look, I can't talk right now." She said, "Oh, Foster, you here?" Duh. I thought she came out to help, because if I'm coming out to help, I'm going to grab my pen, what do you want me to do? Medication? Do you need my... No, just you're here, and went back and never came out. That's beside the point. I did my work. I was told that another nurse come in 15 minutes. She's en route to relieve me and I can go back to my floor. The nurse never show up. 5 times the same situation, the nurse never show up. How many times you have to never show up to a job and you're on the schedule, but you keep this nurse? You see, some manager like to keep nurse that snitch. Some like to keep nurses that are friends. Some like to keep nurses that keep chaos going, because the one that keep the chaos going is the one that get the better position than you. You, the loyal, you, the one that do the job, you the one that show up on time, you the one that don't refuse, you don't argue with them. I have listened and I've observed nursing snapping at this manager, and they got big position. I'm not mad at them. I'm just here to tell you, if you ever get in a situation where your manager lied to you, what to do. So the next day I come to work, I got called in the office. I'm like, why would I get called in the office? And I thought about it. It didn't dawn on me why I was called in the office, to be honest. So I went to the office and Miss Pierre was with Miss Salamango, the new supervisor. They both were there. And that's the time I noticed that manager like to make themselves look good by putting you down in front of someone bigger than you, someone who's on a different level. I'm not saying degree or whatever, because this person is trying to get her BSN and I already got mine. but she's in a supervisory position, so she's above you. And so the manager tried to put me down that I'm the one that hang up in her face. So she's reprimanded me to hang up in her face. And I said, look, Miss Pierre, I did not hang up in your face. I don't disrespect anyone, especially the people in power. Because you never want to upset the person that's signing your check and upset the people in power if you want to move on in nursing, because everything linked to reference whatever, but they can't say anything bad about you. They can just say you work here, technically, on the low key. They may. Anyway, so I said, I did not hang up in your face. As a matter of fact, you hang. No, you. And as a matter of fact, I've been tolerating you for a while. That's what she's saying, her words. But you have been argumentative, and I'm glad that you showed up last night and helped the other nurse, because it could have been a different outcome. That's what she said. See? She had it all along, planned for me to exit. I was quiet. And then she said at the end to the lady, some reference, Miss Salamanga referencing, reprimanding me in a way. I don't remember what she said, but the lie just stick out that she would say that I hang up in her face. That just bothers me. It bothers me. I went home. It just stayed in my chest, and I was bothered by it, because I don't like when people accuse me of something that I did not do. It just didn't sit well with me. I was quiet, and I thought about it. Should I just ignore it? When I went the next day to work, I thanked the nurse for letting me go down there or upstairs to the floor, convincing me for what she said, because this lady had it in for me had I not gone. She even went so far as calling the nurse on A to see if I showed up behind my back before she called me in the office. I was going to ignore it, yes, and keep working. But when somebody lie on you, I don't know about you, but it just keep bothering you and giving me ulcer. Be normal. It was hard for me to be normal because I have to deal with this lady. I decided to take action. I decided not to confront her because I know it wouldn't be in my best interest. So, every job has HR that you can talk to. And so I write them a letter and told them that I felt that, the situation and the outcome. What I'm here to tell you, managers have to keep their job. They want higher up to think that they're doing the job. Could not leave at the time. I decided to stay. I wasn't going to confront the manager because that could be more stress on you, so don't do that. You may find nurses who were your friend, they move up the chain of command and they get justice, meaning they got other new position. They may now become the one who's gossiping on you or tearing you down, stop calling you. When they see you, they turn their face the other way. They don't want to speak. Just hello, not as friendly as before, but that's okay. You need the job. You stay at the job and work around it. That means even though you see your coworkers calling out, you don't call out unless it's necessary. You do the right thing. You show up on time and do your work. What they say, dot all your T's and your Y's, because now you may be a target. Some people may want to confront the manager. I did not. I did not choose to. I did write a letter to HR, and sometimes I think maybe I shouldn't have, because that HR may send it to the manager and they may retaliate. I don't know. I did not know at the time what retaliate. What's the legality of it? I know what it is now. So just do the job. Show up on time. When they say go, Miss Foster, go, you go until you can find another job. If that's not it's not working out for you, if you decide that you need to stay here, and that's what I did, I need to stay put until I decide. And that's when I went to travel nurse in 2009. I've been a travel nurse ever since. And I sure didn't want to go on staff again. I didn't want to experience that, seemed like the bitterness, the negativeness, the environment was too toxic. Think it was greener? Travel nurses, you still walk into the same situation, but that's beside the point. Number one, tip. When dealing with a toxic boss, do not gossip. Keep detailed records. Each time you float, each time you had an encounter with your boss, and just keep that book at home, please. Because, sometimes we put our books down and you never know who might open it, just trying to figure out, not being nosy because they don't know who it is, but trying to figure out who left this behind. So keep it at home. Keep your documentations at home. You have to make a decision whether to stay or go. But if you don't have any immediate job, because you don't want to jump and quit, because you never know, you might need that job sometime in the future, or sit at home and don't have a job. So you decide to stay when you're working with this toxic boss. Don't confront her or him. Do the work. Don't get pulled into people when they start gossiping about her. Just walk away. Show up on time. Don't give anyone excuse to fire you. Make sure you document on every patient that you see if that is the requirement. Follow every protocol. You are under the magnifying glass. No call, no show means termination for some people, but for you it's crucial. If you're not going to make sure you call out if you have to, if it's an emergency, and give them time, some place, know the policy, 2 hours calling out or 4 hours before the shift. Don't get distressed, nurses. If you're in that situation and you're feeling it, I know, you feeling angry inside, you don't know what to do, every day you see this boss, do not bring that problem to work, because what's going to happen, you're either going to bring it home and lash out on the kids, or you're going to lash out on your coworker, or even lash out on the boss. And that could be, rightfully, she won about you and terminate you, because whatever she had in her mind about you, you gave her the opportunity to make it right. That, yes, I am right. Now who's lying? And another thing you should know, and I'm going to end this. This too will pass. This is an experience that If you never ever experience it and you know how to deal with it. And you may not be at the job. You may take off, decide to leave, and then you get a call. Remember that manager, that? Girl, they walked her out the door. So many complained from other staff. You weren't the problem. You're going to get that call. Just be patient. If you're at the job, it may take you many years before they found out this is a fabricating queen or king. And on this, let me end it there. Have a wonderful day or night in your state or your country. Goodbye.